Бажаю здоров'я. Перш за все,
I
сьогодні
wish you health. First of all, today my congratulations go to the security service of Ukraine, to all our SSU warriors. Today is their professional day. So we congratulate and thank all those who protect the security of our state and do absolutely everything to ensure that Russia's plans do not succeed. This is exactly what our security service of Ukraine does. It stops the occupier, destroys the occupier and inflicts the necessary strikes on the occupier. It neutralizes agents and Russian saboteurs. It is very important that Security Service of Ukraine has truly become a combat-ready special service. Today I honored the warriors with state awards, thanking them personally. Also today Commander-in-Chief Zelenskyy delivered a report on the front, the Kursk operation and our results. I am grateful to all units for their resilience. Over the past few days, some much-needed things have been achieved at the front. Thank you, warriors. We need Ukraine's strong position in this, in everything, starting with the battlefield. We also need diplomacy to be strong. Today I have been in touch all day with the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Rustem Umerov, the head of our technical delegation at the talks in Saudi Arabia. Good meetings were held with the American side both yesterday and today. I would like to thank Saudi Arabia and the Crown Prince for their mediation and hospitality. Everything was done to a high standard. The agreements were reached and they are quite specific. It has been agreed with the American side that a ceasefire in our energy sector can begin today. We believe that once the respective statement on the results of the meetings and all the work of the teams today is published, the transition to silence regarding the energy sector can begin. The teams also discussed ways to restore greater security to the Black Sea and normal navigation. For Ukraine, the release of our people from Russian captivity, our military, our civilians, as well as our children who were forcibly taken by the Russian occupiers, is of fundamental importance. I am grateful to America for its readiness to assist in these humanitarian issues, and this is reflected in our statement with the American side. Ukraine is ready to work as swiftly as possible and with absolute transparency to end the war. But unfortunately, right now, right today, right on the day of the talks, we see how the Russians have already started to manipulate. They are already trying to distort the agreements and actually deceive our mediators and the whole world. There are absolutely clear statements published by the White House. Everyone can see what they say. And there is something that the Kremlin is lying about again. That allegedly the silence in the Black Sea depends on the issue of sanctions, and that allegedly the start date for the silence in the energy sector is March 18th. Moscow always lies, and it depends on the world, on all those who truly need peace, whether Moscow will be allowed to lie again. We in Ukraine will do everything to ensure that the agreements work out and that there are no strikes. But the Russians must know and must realize if they carry out strike, they will face a strong response, and they will bear the responsibility. And if the Russians later try to spin tales claiming the strikes were not on energy or civilian infrastructure, everyone will see the truth. I also want to remind everyone that since March 11, the US proposal has been on the table for a full and unconditional ceasefire everywhere, not just on energy infrastructure and in the Black Sea. It was Russia that refused to accept it. It is Russia's stance that is prolonging this war. When Putin didn't say yes to an unconditional ceasefire, no new sanctions were imposed on Russia. Now Moscow is making some demands about lifting parts of the sanctions, despite having spent the last 3 years insisting that sanctions are not harmful to them, but rather beneficial. But if this agreement also fails, if Russians do not fulfill the terms of today's agreements and instead try once again to pressure the US, Europe and Ukraine, then I believe there should be only one response. Definitely new sanctions, definitely more pressure. How Russia behaves in the coming days will reveal a lot, if not everything. If there are air raid alerts again, if there is renewed military activity in the Black Sea, if Russian manipulations and threats continue, then new measures will need to be taken, specifically against Moscow. Diplomacy must work, and from the Ukrainian side we are doing everything to make that happen. I would like to thank everyone who is helping us. I am grateful to the United States for the efforts of our teams, for their constructive and effective work. Now results are needed from Russia. We do not trust them, and frankly, the world doesn't trust Russia, and they must prove that they are truly ready to end the war, ready to stop lying to the world, stop lying to President Trump, and stop lying to America. Glory to Ukraine.
Слава Україні!